Bantam Doubleday Dell Audio Publishing presents Star Wars, Wraith Squadron, Book 5 of the X-Wing series, by Aaron Allston. 12 X-Wing snub fighters roared down into the atmosphere. The world below, Coruscant, former throne world of the Empire, was an unbroken landscape of urban construction, a vast city blanketed by gray clouds shot through with white and yellow flashes of lightning. Wedge Antilles, the squadron commander, shook his head. Even after the crucial role he'd played conquering this world for the New Republic, he could not get over the grim vista. Within moments, their destination was clear: Imperial Plaza. The plaza was packed with spectators. Even at this altitude, Wedge could see banners and fluttering confetti. As they descended, Wedge flipped his comm system to the squadron channel. "They're here for a show, rogues. Let's give them one." The rogues split into 3 flight groups, each one maneuvering into a diamond-shaped formation. 1 X-Wing forward, 1 back, the 2 others side by side in the middle, with Wedge's group forward and the other 2 side by side and behind, making a triangle of diamonds. The flight groups then crisscrossed above the speakers' platforms as they descended, a dazzling display of precision flying, until a mere 10 meters above the ground, they set down. The pilots climbed down from their cockpits into a whirlwind of celebration. At the front of the speaker's platform stood Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan. She caught Wedge's eye and gave him a smile and a shake of the head, acknowledging their mutual dislike of public spectacles such as this, then turned toward the crowd. "Citizens of the New Republic, I present you Rogue Squadron." Before I bring Commander Wedge Antilles up to speak, I think I should put the Rogue Squadron's recent accomplishments in perspective. With their efforts... Wedge tuned her out. This was old news to him. Weeks before, he'd led Rogue Squadron on a mission that the New Republic Military Command could not support. Resigning their commissions, the Rogues had mounted a civilian action against the new government of Typhera, where the majority of Bacta, the miracle medicine, was produced. That government was headed by the Empire's former espionage leader, Isane Ishart, and could have become the core of a reunited empire. But now Isane Ishart was dead, and Rogue Squadron's resignations had apparently been creatively misfiled, meaning that the New Republic was retroactively making the Typheran mission an officially sanctioned operation. Wedge went to stand beside his friends and fellow pilots Hobby Cliven and Wes Jansen. "Get me up to date," he said. "Is Gauntlet Squadron active?" Hobby laughed. "You're behind the times. Corsair was our first squadron, Gauntlet our second, and our third Talon was just commissioned." "Who's commanding?" "Lieutenant Min Donos. A good pilot, smart." Lieutenant Wes Jansen, still baby-faced despite his years of flying for the Alliance and the New Republic, grinned. "Smart, egotistical, self-centered. You know, a typical Corellian." Wedge grinned. "As a broad-minded officer, I should ignore that, but as a Corellian, I'll manage some sort of revenge." He turned back to Hobby. "I have an idea for another new X-Wing unit. Something based on our experiences taking Coruscant and Typhera." The New Republic guard, his face as emotionless as a ferrocrete bunker, admitted Wedge to the office. Within, the furniture was smooth and rounded with colors of the sea, the air cool but uncomfortably moist. Behind his desk, Admiral Akbar, Commander-in-Chief of the New Republic's military operations, returned Wedge's salute. Like other Mon Calamari, with their outsized heads and rubbery skins, he looked to most people like a bipedal intellectual fish. But Wedge knew him to be far more humane and courageous than many who fought for the New Republic. Akbar gestured toward the visitors' chairs.
"Commander Antilles, please sit. Your message hinted at, what was it, recommendations for a new type of unit, particularly well-suited to the search for Warlord Zinj."
"That's correct." Warlord Zinj, a one-time Imperial admiral still in possession of a superstar destroyer, was now the New Republic's most important military objective. His hit-and-run missions against New Republic sites were increasing in bold effectiveness, and there was a danger that he might assume Isane Isart's role as the center of an Imperial resurgence. "I'd like to form a new X-Wing group, sir." Admiral Akbar's mouth bent in an approximation of a smile.
"Rogue Squadron is no longer good enough for you?"
"Rogue Squadron will always be good enough for me, sir. But in the last several years, I've bumped repeatedly into a glaring weakness in our military." Wedge leaned back, settling in for a lengthy discussion.
"I think we need another Commando X-Wing squadron.
One where we choose pilots so as to have a full range of intrusion and subversion skill. Normal pilots follow orders and conform themselves to standard tactics, and should. But a commando unit might develop new tactics, new ways of anticipating assaults and ambushes." Akbar's expression was dubious.
"Getting pilots for this squadron would be a considerable expense."
"No, sir. I want pilots no one else wants. Washouts, pilots staring court-martials in the face, troublemakers and screw-ups." Akbar stared as if he couldn't believe his tympanic membranes.
"In the name of the Force, Commander, why?"
Wedge took a deep breath. "Well, some of them, of course, will be irredeemable. I'll wash them out. Some of them will be good men and women who've screwed up one time too many, who know their careers are dead, but would give anything for one more chance."
"What would become of Rogue Squadron?"
Akbar asked. "Captain Selkio, my second-in-command on the Typhera mission, is more than qualified to lead. I'd take Lieutenant Wes Jansen as my own second-in-command. Once the new squadron is established, I'd hope to return to direct command of Rogue Squadron."
"I understand."
Akbar nodded agreeably.
"Request refused."
Wedge couldn't speak. He thought he had convinced the Admiral.
"Unless—"
Wedge found his voice again. "Unless—"
"I'll make a bet with you, Commander. You get your chance at forming this squadron. If 3 months after it goes operational it has proven its worth, you can do as you please."
"And if I lose?"
"You accept promotion to the rank of general and join my advisory staff."
Wedge kept his dismay from his face. "I would seem to win either way, sir."
"Stop it, you're not fooling anyone. If you had your way, you'd continue flying snub fighters and commanding fighter squadrons until you're a century old. How many promotions have you turned down? 2, 3?
2.
In a sense, you've already lost, Commander Antilles. You're wagering your career for the good of the New Republic. You're creating new tactics, new weapons, for the New Republic, not just for your squadron. You're already a general. You just don't know it yet."
"I guess I'll accept that remark in the spirit in which it was intended, sir."
"I have another remark for you, Wedge. News. Bad news. Talon Squad is gone. They were ambushed at Gravin 7. Everyone is dead except for Lieutenant Donos. They were pursuing an anomaly, a standard TIE interceptor far from any hyperspace-capable ship, into an uninhabited system logged as recently secured by New Republic intelligence. That designation turns out to have been false, somehow sliced into our system. The interceptor led them into a shooting gallery, and 11 members of the squadron died."
In a makeshift office on the Moon Folor, Wedge sat back in his chair, a recycled ejection seat mounted on a heavy brace, and looked over the list of applicants he and his second-in-command, Wes Jansen, had processed so far. A Tatooine woman with excellent flying marks, already an ace, but a career in the incinerator because of what was listed as chronic insolence.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?